Hi. So now let us see another important thing in the where class when you are dealing actually. So that is null values actually. Okay. This is very, very important, especially the columns which have null values. So first of all, let us try to understand what is null meaning and how to deal with the null values actually. Okay. So here, a field with null value is a field with no value actually. So that means, for example, if you take the EMP table, you can take especially the commission column actually. So here, out of all total 14 columns, we have actually values. You have values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 fields you have values and no value is 8 fields actually. So this don't no value, this no value like this. All empty things are nulls only actually. So they don't have any value actually. So those things you are going to treat as a null actually. Okay. And if you see a field with null value is one that has left blank during the record creation. Is it? So that is why whenever you are entering this particular record 7902, you didn't mention the value of this field actually. That is why it is left as a blank. That blank is nothing but null. That is what we are saying. First of all, at the time of creation of that particular record, you didn't enter anything. You left blank actually. So that automatically SQL treating as null value. But one thing you must have a clarity that null value is not as a 0 or it contains some space. You should not consider like that. Okay. It is not 0 or any space. It is null, which is left as blank actually. It is not neither 0 nor space actually. Okay. This is you should carefully observe actually. Okay. Nulls are different things. Maybe at the time of creating that particular record, value may be not available or maybe not applicable. At that time, you are going to ignore that particular field actually under that column. So that is why system automatically treating as a null values. That is really very, very important. Okay, fine. But the here thing is that how to test for null values actually. So whenever you are applying any condition on commission, for example, how to deal with these null values actually. That is really very important. Another thing. So dealing directly with the null values, directly you cannot use actually. So that is what you can see here. Testing null values with the comparison operators such as equal or not equal are not possible. You cannot compare equal to null or not equal to null. So you are going to have a special operators to deal with nulls actually. So that is what the say we have is null one thing and is not null another thing actually. Following. So if any column have a nulls, those nulls to deal, we are going to have is null and is not null. So for example, first thing is null syntax. If you see, very simple. Select a class as usually from class and tables you mention. And in the where clause, on which column you want to put a is null. That means under this column, whichever field have null, those records it is returning. So for example, if you apply the on the commission column is null. So whoever have a null value, those records it is returning. So that is what you can see. 7566 7698 7782 7788. These are going to have a null values. So that is why these 4 records and here these 4 records null values. So these 4 records are going to return in the output actually. So total 8 records it is returning because under this column, whoever have a null value, those e-names it is returning actually. So that is what Jones, Blake, Clark, Scott don't have any commission and Adams, James, Miller, Ford also don't have any commission. So very simple. Okay, so such a columns only it is returning, and such a attributes whatever you mention in the select class, those column values only you are displaying in the output. So in this case, 8 records it is returning. Now similarly, if you see the another thing is not null, so you can observe how you are going to is not null. So same way is not null you are mentioning actually. So now that meaning is what? Whoever have a not null actually. That means you can see here, this is not null, this is not null, this is not null, this, and this. Total 6 records don't have not null. Is it or not? So that is what if you see the select clause on the commission, where clause, commission is not null. Whoever don't have a null value. So that means these 3, and here these 2, and here this one. Total 6 records it is returning. Who are those? Smith, Allen, Ward, and here King, Turner, and here Martin. So that is why specifically we mentioned 0.0. It is not a null. It is some value actually. That is why it is not null. Okay. So in this way, first thing is at the basic level, if any column have a no value means it is a null. So whenever you want to go for the comparison with a null, this is what the usage actually. So basing on the requirement, either you can use is null, and accordingly you can use is null or is not null corresponding to that particular column name actually. Okay.